I have read that SAG-AFTRA's membership has never failed to ratify a contract before. What if we send it back? That's what I want to ask.
Thank you.
Sure. So yeah, thank you for starting with the hard question. I appreciate it. That's okay. What happens if this contract isn't ratified? So, I mean, let's be real about it, because what happens if this contract isn't ratified is we have to go back to the negotiating committee and the national board and decide what to do next. So it seems obvious that if this contract is not ratified, we're not just going to go back into negotiations, because why would we think that if this contract is rejected that all of a sudden the companies are just going to offer more or do something that you would view as better? So that really leaves us with only really one path, which would be to attempt to restart a strike and go back on strike against these companies for an indeterminate period of time until something happened that made us think we could reach an agreement that the members would ratify. That would either mean that the strike lasted so long that members changed their mind and decided to ratify it anyway, or it would mean that the companies would decide to offer something that they haven't already offered. From every indication I have, and there are negotiating committee members and others here who may have different views or whatever, but we have no indications from these companies that they would be willing to offer more than this. We went on strike for 118 days to get this. We extracted last-minute concessions from them based on the timing of this. When, in my view, we went to the moment of peak leverage, the moment when they were forced to make decisions about canceling shows and canceling projects for next year, and that's how we extracted the final concessions in generative AI and others, and on the streaming bonus money as well. So I think just being really realistic, if this contract is voted down, then you should expect that we will need to go back on strike, and we'll need to go back on strike for a significant period of time before we will figure out if we are able to achieve something different that members would be happier with. And I guess I would just wrap up that answer by saying, collective bargaining it's a negotiation, and even when you go on strike, going on strike, it's not a genie, it doesn't give you wishes. Going on strike adds leverage to your toolbox, and that's what you then use to get where you wanted to go. We couldn't get anywhere near this by July 12th. That's why we went on strike. We used that leverage to get the deal that we've just talked to you about. And so just recognize that a non-ratification of this deal doesn't mean we're going to get something better. And in my experience, it results in the opposite of that, which is the companies getting entrenched against us, feeling like they offered this and then we rejected it, and we probably have to go back and have a real fight just to keep up with where we are now. So just be aware that that is a real risk of not ratifying this deal. The last thing I just want to say about it is, remember that there are no restrictions on AI right now in this contract. So one of the things that companies do when you reach an impasse, they didn't do it in this case, and traditionally they haven't done it in this industry, but in the event of a non-ratification, they certainly could do this, which is bargain to impasse and then implement unilaterally their last, best, and final offer. That last, best, and final offer could have much less or even no regulations on AI in it. So as much as I understand people being really scared about what could happen with AI in this industry, my question to you would be, do you really feel you'd be better off with no AI regulation at all than what we've just talked about in terms of the AI regulation we've negotiated? Because that is a very real possibility of a non-ratification of this deal.
Thank you.